All right, let's talk about NXT. Man, what an NXT. NXT threw everything at the wall tonight. Man, we had one hell of a show. NXT gave it all away, so they really have started over. See, why is NXT coming off of a pay-per-view really good? It didn't feature all of their top stars either. Really good. Raw after a pay-per-view, flat as piss. I don't know, but let's go into this weaponized steel cage match. Gigi Dolan defeats JC Jane. It was a pretty solid match, but the picture-in-picture ate up a lot of this match. So there was a part where like JC Jane is using like a chain wrapped around her fist, but it's in picture-in-picture. And when it comes out of picture-in-picture, she's in like a chin lock. That's a structure problem with WWE is, they tell the talent when they're going to commercial and when they're coming out of commercial. Why not put somebody in a chin lock during the commercial and then save the rest of the stuff for after the commercial? I don't know why they started doing that. I don't get it. I remember when I was a kid, you would go WWF superstars. They would, put somebody in a chin lock, then they would go to commercial. And then when you came back, they were fighting out of the chin lock or whatever, so you won't have to sit through the chin lock, I don't know why they reversed it. Anyway, JC Jane jump-started this match. It was seemingly pretty good. Not super violent, not really over the top. They hit each other with a strap a couple of times. They used a garbage can a couple of times. The finish came with a choke slam or some type of uranagi off a top rope through a table. So Gigi Dolan wins. Very flat, definitive victory. I liked the match. I thought it was good. I don't know why they started the show with this when they could have main evented the show with this. But, of course, we ended up seeing what they main evented the show with. And I guess that's good enough. So hopefully these girls can move on. I've been hearing that Battleground and this show was a farewell for some people. That maybe Braun Breaker is not going to be on NXT for much longer. And maybe Gigi or JC won't be there for much longer either. I don't know if they're going to do some quote-unquote call-ups, but I guess that's going to be the option because they're going to be doing cuts soon. So I'm guessing they're going to have people populate the Raw and SmackDown from after the cuts or whatever. That ought to be interesting. All right, so Wesley is backstage talking about his victory when he's confronted by the Dyad. Then Tyler Bate says that he's got his back and said that everything that happened at Battleground was just in the spirit of competition. So they're still buddies, apparently. This leads to the Dyad versus Tyler Bates and Wes Lee. A lot happened in this match. First, Mustafa Ali appears, and he's just like the Sting. He's just standing at the top of the crowd watching. And everybody stopped doing what they're doing in the ring because Mustafa Ali showed up. Which has got to be the weirdest thing in the world. Because for starters, it's just Mustafa Ali. Secondly, but anytime somebody from the main roster shows up in NXT, all of a sudden they're a rock star. So there's people really losing their mind because Mustafa Ali is there. He comes down to the ring and starts doing commentary. I have no idea why they stopped the match. They stopped doing what they were doing to look at Mustafa Ali like, huh, what are you doing here? All right, the match is, it was okay, I guess. Wesley and Tyler Bate win. Mustafa Ali gets on commentary, says that he's a free agent, reminds everybody that he was undrafted, which is, a good catch, because I don't think many people didn't remember that. After the match, Ivy Nile she attacked Ava Raine, and they fought outside the ring. This led to the Creed brothers and the Dyad fighting outside the ring. Wesley wasn't paying attention when Joe Gacy attacked him from behind. Then Mustafa Ali left commentary to chase off Joe Gacy. So now we left with Mustafa Ali in the North American title scene. He might be doing some business with Joe Gacy. I'm not against it, but it's not the best idea. I guess to get his feet wet, it's not that big of a deal, if we're being honest. So. But Mustafa Ali in NXT is a great deal. It's a great move. There definitely needs to be more people. Send more to NXT. We're going to talk about Baron Corbin a little bit later. But those are two good picks for right now for guys who should get runs in NXT. I don't mind Baron Corbin or Mustafa Ali being in NXT at all. Mustafa Ali getting in there and getting in the North American title picture is pretty damn sweet. And the North American title is usually where people come in and, they get a quick challenge. And like I remember Ricochet came down there for a short time. So maybe Mustafa Ali sticks around for a little while. Is he going to have a run that is like Ricochet, where it's like 2 weeks or whatever? Or is he going to have a run that's going to be more like Apollo Crews, where he's going to be down there for months? I don't know. It ought to be interesting either way. Considering that he wasn't really utilized that well on Raw or SmackDown, I think NXT is a good fresh start for him, especially if he wants to do something different and actually be able to pass on some knowledge. I think NXT is great for him. Okay, now they did mug shots for Tony DAngelo, which was really terrible. I can't believe they really arrested my guy. This is not good. Gallus was making fun of him. They were celebrating and saying they can't be stopped. This one, Stacks showed up and said that these guys had ratted on Tony DAngelo, and then he ended up getting beat up by Gallus. The officials then threw Mark Coffey and Wolfgang out, and they made the match of Stacks versus Joe Coffey. Now, I don't think we needed this match, but it was fine, I guess. Joe Coffey defeated Stacks in this match. At one point, Stacks had so much momentum that he threw himself over the top rope during a clothesline. I was like, oh, brother. Oh, brother. But it was fine. Joe Coffey he's good. And when you can understand him, he's pretty good. I want to know what's going on with Tony DAngelo. There's so much there that I want to explore. Like, is he really in jail? Is that what we're gonna get next? Is like Tony DAngelo in jail in a jumpsuit? Is we gonna get Tony DAngelo in the oranges? Oh boy, can't wait. All right, so Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams are in the ring. Carmelo Hayes is bragging about his victory, saying he never missed when he comes to the title. Noam Dar interrupts, said that Melo ain't the only one who succeeded, and Trick said it took all four of them to defeat Dragon Lee, and interrupting them is a super no-no, which is supposed to be a play on words for the supernova. Melo says that Dar is on a different level, and he's very impressive, but the NXT Championship means he's on a higher level, or the highest level. Noam Dar took that as a challenge and wants a title match tonight. They went back and forth about it before Carmelo finally agreed. And then that was the main event of the evening, Carmelo Hayes versus Noam Dar. So, I saw people like, oh, Mongo, why were you mad that Dragon Lee lost to Noam Dar? Well, because Nathan Fraser beat Noam Dar last week. Carmelo Hayes beat Noam Dar this week. And the only fucking win that he's gotten at any point was over Dragon Lee. Why was that happening? Okay, now we knew Noam Dar wasn't winning this title. It was still a pretty good match, though. But we knew they weren't going to win. Before this match happened, though, Trick Williams got approached by Lash legend Jakara Jackson and Oro Mensah. And they weren't really talking about much of anything. It was just an opportunity for Trick Williams to be funny and talk about that they need to move their lips. Or he says button their lips and move their hips. which I thought was pretty good. I thought they was going to try to recruit him or something like that, but no, they didn't. Also, Oro Mensah's accent, is he exaggerating that accent now? And I think he's from South Africa or something like that. And it's I don't know if they are, but it feels like he's talking with a heavier accent now than he was before. I don't know. Anyway. It didn't matter that much. Trick Williams let Oro Mensah get under his skin and ended up getting ejected during the main event. This led Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, and Oro Mensah outside the ring. Eventually, Dragon Lee and Nathan Fraser got in the situation to keep all of the Noam's entourage at bay. Carmelo Hayes ended up winning the match, of course. As the show was going off the air, Baron Corbin assaults Carmelo Hayes from behind while wearing a shirt that says Dream Crusher. And, I love that. I love that. And the crowd is chanting bum ass Corbin. As we go off the air, he's got the NXT title in the air and they're chanting bum ass Corbin. I love this. Baron Corbin isn't the kind of guy I see in a long-term run with NXT. I see his NXT run being pretty short. He's probably going to be there. He'll be gone before Great American Bash, I'm sure. But this is fun. Carmelo Hayes gets to wrestle another main roster guy. It's somebody beatable, but, it's meaningful, So it's not quite AJ Styles or anything like that. It's not Ricochet, but it's fine. Baron Corbin's a perfectly serviceable heel in the company. Will they do the Dolph Ziggler and put the title on him? I hope not. But I mean, you could always do that and just screw with the audience. But I wouldn't do that. That would be bad business because Carmelo Hayes is doing very, very well right now. You could use Baron Corbin to get attention, but I wouldn't put the belt on him. Dragon Lee and Nathan Fraser still being involved with Noam Dar. Okay. I'm guessing they're going to have Nathan Fraser take over as being the contender, which is going to make Dragon Lee a sidekick. And I'm like, bruh, this is not... I was told this is the highest paid guy in NXT and all this kind of stuff. If that's the case, and this is how you're choosing to use him, you're wasting money. And somebody needs to get into the expense reports around here and say, hey, if we got a guy who's the highest, and this is just speculation that he's the highest paid guy in NXT. We don't know that for sure. And if that's going to be the case, then we need to push him like he's the highest paid guy in NXT. And I know I'm being biased because I really like Dragon Lee more than most other people on this show. But I accept that because the guy's fucking good. And I didn't know he spoke as much English as he does speak. There's no reason to have him play second fiddle to Nathan Fraser or Noam Dar. We're not talking about Braun Breaker here or somebody, of value. We're talking about guys that you beat every week. We're talking about guys that can go weeks without winning a match. I mean, I guess Noam Dar was the last time Nathan Fraser won a big match. For Christ's sake, man, come on. You got to feel me on this. If you're gonna have this guy, please do something with him. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Trick Williams versus Oro Mensah eventually. That ought to be fun. Oro Mensah just casually turning heel on him. Just very casually, no big deal. no big deal. I'm a heel now. Anyway, so Cora Jade was backstage and she was being really ridiculous. She was on one of those rambles where she's not talking to anybody in particular. She's just talking about herself. And she's talking about how she's got this black eye, so now she's half blind, and that's why she ended up losing to Lyra Valkyria, and that she should really be the champion. And she got screwed over, and everybody's been very unfair to her. Ivy Nile walked in because apparently she was off screen this entire time. I don't understand why they do the off screen thing where somebody walks on screen. Why couldn't she just be in the back like, oh my God, putting her head in her hands like, oh my God, what is this? And plus, it's kind of weird that the babyfaces and the heels all in one locker room. That's kind of weird, But I guess we're just whatever. So Ivy Nile approaches, tells Cora Jade to stop whining because she lost in the tournament and other people didn't even get that chance. So they had a match later. It wasn't much of a match. It barely got started before Ava Raine got involved and distracted Ivy Nile, which led to Cora Jade winning. Cora Jade never wins a match clean. It's never. That's good, when it comes to being a heel, but she never wins a match clean. And that eye injury she's got is pretty nasty. It's discolored and everything. It should make her wear an eye patch or like a face mask or something. But Cora Jade she's really, growing on me. Ivy Nile, I've been a fan. They just jobbing her the hell out. I don't know why. I don't know why she's even a babyface right now. The idea, the track that Vince had her on as sort of the vicious, muscular pit bull female wrestler seemed perfect. It seemed like it fits as long as she didn't talk, because the moment she talked, it's just all bubbles and butterflies. She sounded like she's 14. As long as she didn't speak, it was cool. She got very angry at Ava Raine and challenged her to a match next week. The Creed brothers then challenged the Dyad. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up as some kind of 6-person thing rather than 2 separate matches. It's probably going to end up as some kind of 6-person match, which is fine by me, I guess. But I want to like Ivy Nile, but the company won't let me. And I like Cora Jade. She doesn't win clean ever. She's always willing to cheat. She's always taking shortcuts. It works. I think she should be next in line after whatever babyface wins the title from Tiffany Stratton. Unless she's going to get called up, in which case she'd probably be more successful if she got called up and if she won the NXT title, if we're being honest. I think that when I'm looking at, and we're going to talk about it in a moment, Tiffany Stratton, I think Cora Jade is more ready for the main roster than Tiffany is. And I'll explain when I get there. All right, so Chase University, they did a backstage thing where Drew Gulak was teaching leverage and submission technique. Outside the ring is Thea Hale, who is, I don't know, what is she doing? She's like, she's got that scrappy do thing where she's just a ball of nervous energy, and she's trying to convince Duke Hudson to let her try out and all this kind of stuff, and he finally gives in and lets her do it. And Dempsey and Gulak warn her about crying and running away as they're bullying this girl. Like Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey are bullying a teenage girl. That's their gimmick now, is that their entire issue with Chase University is they want to bully Thea Hale, who is a 19-year-old rookie. Well, I think she's 18. 19-year-old rookie. That's crazy. That's just crazy. It's working, though, because if it makes her a better wrestler, then it worked out, right? If it changes her gimmick a little bit, then it worked out, right? So hopefully she can learn a thing or two, because I do like Thea Hale. I like her enthusiasm. I like the character work she's doing. I like how she tosses herself into the gimmick. She has been the best thing about Chase University as far as I'm concerned. I have really been impressed with Thea Hale. I think they should bring her up to the main roster and make her a part of Alpha Academy. That would be great. She'll really help them get over, because she has so much a uniqueness about her. But then again, if you take her out of Chase University's dead. So I don't know. And plus, she's a little young to bring up to the main roster. Again, she's just a kid. All right. Tiffany Stratton. She had her Tiffy-bration. And it's basically just her in the ring doing a live promo. And the live promo aspect of it is she's saying that she's going to show everyone what it's like to be a true champion. And that when she looks in the mirror, she sees a true champion. She sees herself. And she's the epitome of a WWE superstar. She then called out all of the other women, saying that she wanted them to appreciate her. They didn't come out because nobody listens to her. Then she says, well, I guess you guys don't want to know who the number one contender is going to be. And then when she says that, everybody starts to come out. Then she looks around and says that she might as well retire as champion because none of them can beat her. Then she announced a battle royal for next week, and the winner will face her for the NXT Women's Championship. I immediately rolled my eyes at the battle royal idea because it's incredibly lazy. Then, as she's sort of gloating in the ring, Thea Hale, Lyra Valkyria, and others attacked her. And she got drop kicked, but she didn't even take a bump. She just kind of stumbled back, even though she was wearing heels. It would have been the perfect time to take a bump, but she didn't take a bump. All right, so the Tiffy-bration was a bit of a bust. Now, here's why. Tiffany Stratton has almost no experience cutting live promos. This was the first time she really had to do it. And it was good practice because she doesn't have a strong voice and the character waffles a little bit. She sounds very, very nervous. She sounds incredibly nervous. Like in the ring, she's very good. She's excellent. She's a prodigy in the ring. But when it comes to the character work, and she knows this herself because she said it, she needs to work on her promos. And this was really like the first time she really had the chance to do a long in-ring promo, and she sounded very nervous. She didn't have enough passion and enough punch in her voice. It sounded like she was just going through her lines, and then if she screwed up, she just said the line over. Typical of people who are very nervous in this spot. So I definitely would leave her in NXT for a little while longer. I think Cora Jade is a little bit more ready in terms of being able to talk on the mic, because she's done several live promos before, and she's a little bit more comfortable with it. And plus, if she's not going to win the title almost immediately, there's no point in her being in NXT anymore. She's feuded with everybody who matters, right? So Tiffany Stratton just needs a little bit more work. Speaking of more work, Danny Palmer had the exact same problem when she got in the ring and talked. She had the mannerisms down where she seemed like she was pretty upset, but you didn't feel any bass in her voice. You didn't feel any threat in her voice. So she says that she wasn't going to leave the arena until she figured out who the attacker was. The attacker said that they were going to be there. So she wants to know who it is, who attacked her, who injured her friend, Sol Ruka. Now Sol Ruka's going to be out for a year. She wants to know who it was. The video plays on the screen. She's attacked from behind, and it's Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport, who everybody knew who it was going to be. She got a welcome back chant instead of boos. So instead of people booing that she attacked little old Danny Palmer, who didn't do anything to anybody, instead of getting booed for it, she got a welcome back chant. And then I guess eventually people decided to boo. Like, oh, well, I forgot what we're supposed to be doing here. Boo. Yeah, boo, 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 boo. Stupid audience. Audience is stupid. -5 points for a dumb audience. Blair Davenport is amazing. You know, she's exactly what the NXT female roster needs. Only problem is that it's another heel. So now you got Davenport, Stratton, and Cora Jade are all pretty much the top heels at this point. Only one of them can be the goddamn champion. And since Tiffany Stratton just won the belt, you can't take it from her. Not yet. So what is Blair Davenport going to do in NXT? And this is another reason why you probably should call up Cora Jade. Because even though I think she's the youngest of the three, well, she might be. I think Tiffany Stratton might be the youngest of the three. Maybe Blair Davenport should be in NXT for a little while in order to do the feud with Sol Ruka. If Sol Ruka's going to be out for a year, then probably not. But maybe you ought to transition. Let Blair Davenport obviously get some reps in NXT, because she never really got started. Like, she had the match with Meiko Satomura and Mandy Rose, and she got hurt, and then she was off for months. So let her get her reps in, then you transition her to SmackDown or Raw or something like that. Because you don't need to have 3 top heels on the roster. You just don't need 3. So since Tiffany Stratton's going to be the champion for a little while, and Cora Jade is more established, Blair Davenport needs that time. But then I think you should either move Cora Jade or move Blair Davenport off the brand. You just don't need that many top heels at one time. And then you still got JC Jane there, and she's very good too. And then you also have to introduce some new people, you know. All right. So Eddie Thorpe was hanging out with Idris Enofe and Malik Blade, who was telling him that he needs to learn after this loss that he had to whoever he lost to. I think it was Tyler Bate. So Damon Kemp said that Thorpe can't win without cheating, which led to them shoving each other because they're children, apparently. Later, Malik Blade and Idris Enofe started hanging around with Hank and Tank, who were talking about their injuries and how they're now best buddies. They're simpatico. They agree on everything. What's your favorite song? You know, what's your favorite movie? And having gone through that fight made them better. So Idris Enofe and Malik Blade tried the same thing. They tried to say, well, look, we're connected. We're buddies. We're homeboys. So they start talking about, hey, what's your favorite? What's the best time to train? And they're on separate ends. And they tried it again, and they're on separate ends. They're not simpatico, and they're not in sync. So now Malik Blade wants to have a match with Idris Enofe, and in the hopes that it's going to make them a better tag team. And Idris Enofe is like, no, we are not fighting. I like these two guys, man. I really do like Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. We should be doing more with those guys, man. I like them. They have a lot of personality. They're smaller guys, but they look, at least Idris Enofe looks great. Malik Blade is kind of skinny, but you need varying body types and stuff like that on your show. He might be a good smaller bump guy. As a tag team, I think we need fresher tag team division. They definitely should, get helped out. But, again, this idea that tag team partners are fighting in order to be a better tag team is something that, comes out of the old territories where a lot of guys, they were partners because either they were, quote, faux brothers, fake brothers, or they were routinely opponents and they knew each other well enough that it could work. So, I'm very interested in seeing what they're going to do. Robert Stone wanted Von Wagner to go to therapy because he's got an anger management problem because he almost killed Luca Cristofano last week. Von Wagner refused, saying that he's not turning over his hard-earned cash to some quack, to which Robert Stone said he will pay for it. And then that led to Von Wagner saying that he's willing to think about it. I'm guessing we're going to do some kind of version of the anger management skits that WWE did with Kane and Daniel Bryan, where we get to the bottom of why Von Wagner is such a madman. Am I looking forward to this? It's something, I guess. I'm not going to say no, because it's better than Von Wagner being in a 15-minute match. But I'm not going to say yes, because it's still Von Wagner, and it's hard to feel like I need to see Von Wagner do anything, But it's interesting, so have at it. They did a vignette for Ilia Draganov where they talked about a backstage look at his match with Dijak, and they asked some really pertinent questions, some philosophical questions of our time. Is Ilia Draganov searching for pain, or is pain searching for him? Is he the pain? The world with no pain. It's like, oh, okay. He's wearing his little nice suit. It's just everything about Dragunov is very cool. He comes across as being the toughest piece of human jerky ever produced. Even though, and part of him being small is actually fits his gimmick. I think I said this before. Like, him being little actually fits his gimmick because he's punching above his weight all the time and he could absorb tremendous amounts of punishment. He's not a world beater, but he's a guy that you just can't kill. If he's the guy who can't be broken, but he can take a lot of damage, that could really get over. Even on the main roster, that could get over. He's not going to get over with that funky ass music, though. That hop, skip, dance music they got him playing. What the fuck? What happened to the music that I know the Russians aren't exactly the good guys in the world right now, but I mean, the guy's Russian. Okay, just the best we could do is just let him be Russian. His character has nothing to do with him being Russian, but come on, let's stop with this goofy dance music, this Oktoberfest shit you got him going to the ring with. I know Oktoberfest is German. I know that. I don't care. I'm being offensive on purpose. All right, it's for color. It ain't for accuracy. All right, so that's the wholeness of NXT. It hit the 5-match point perfectly. Got 3 surprises, even though only 2 of them was actually a surprise. Baron Corbin, I could see doing a short run in NXT, maybe a month, maybe even just a couple of weeks. Mustafa Ali should probably be there for the longer term. I definitely look forward to what Mustafa Ali can do because NXT is a brand that could really use him. Tiffany Stratton needs more help to doing the live promos. There was no Braun Breaker this week, which makes sense. That's fine. He lost. You can take a week off. The Battle Royal next week, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's lazy. We don't need constantly with the multi-man matches. I don't know who's going to win the Battle Royal. I don't think it matters at this point. Since Tiffany just won the title, nobody who's a legitimate contender is going to win. So it might end up being Thea Hale or Fallon Henley or somebody like that, somebody that she could dog walk in her first match before her first real feud for the title actually occurs. So it's just a fun idea, I guess, to have a battle royal. So Carmelo Hayes had a really good match with Noam Dar. Dragon Lee is still a sidekick. I don't get that. But overall, though, NXT has been an absolute blast. It was a fun show to watch, fun surprises, and I know they can't keep this up every week. So next week is going to be more about why Mustafa Ali is here, why is Baron Corbin here, what is Blair Davenport going to do, why does she attack people, resetting some characters like maybe Braun Breaker and Ilia Draganov. We're still, I think, leaning towards that Tyler Bate heel turn. I think it's coming more than ever now. And, we just got a lot going on. And I'm enjoying it, So what do you guys think? Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They